Hello, my name is Louis Yacht.
And I am Matthew Stewart Jackson. And this is the Tank Podcast.
2 actors and no kids.
Where we are flipping the script on modern masculinity.
Yes, we are.
Wow, how was your week, Louis?
You know, my week was really good. Nice and easy, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
It's been nice and chill or whatever. Work has been fine. A lot of people out there don't know I actually work for the Cape Fear Regional Theater.
Look at you, keeping it
I am a
in-house.
thespian, and I want to make sure that I am rooted in the arts of thespian.
Thespian.
But
live it every day.
I'm telling you, but the week has been good. Like I actually cooked yesterday. It was my sister-in-law's birthday. You will meet her later on.
Oh, look at a sneak peek on who our guest is.
And I cooked for her yesterday. She loves French fries with covered in cheese. So I did cheese fries, and I added proteins, which were bacon, chicken, and steak.
Well, that is loaded.
Yeah.
That is a loaded fry.
It was funny because I was like, well, maybe I'll do a lot of potato. But then you realize it's a lot of meat in French fries. Like, it was a lot. Like, I was so full, I was done.
That was a full meal.
Yeah, but so I did that for her yesterday, and it was cool. It turned out really well, and she enjoyed it. And it was my first time actually doing cheese fries.
That's great.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
I'm learning.
Yeah, you are. Look at you go.
And how was yours?
My week was great, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, it was very productive.
Nice.
Just did some stand-up comedy last night.
And how was it, sir?
It went really well. My whole set was about not having kids. So it was a great
that's what
time.
I'm talking about. Listen, people need to know.
People need to know. So it was, just kind of, I was like, I really should have just plugged the podcast. Should have just been up there and been like, yo, follow us at Tank. You know, but
Plug the podcast?
I didn't.
Where are my pearls? I want to clutch them.
Missed opportunity. I wasn't thinking.
It was all good. It was all good.
But no, it was a great week. What about this week has made you grateful that you don't have kids?
I think I had time to myself.
Yes.
Because
alone time.
having kids, you don't have time to yourself.
Yes.
The time that you do think you have to yourself, someone's screaming and asking for a cookie, asking for a lollipop, asking to follow them to the restroom, or something crazy.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I need help wiping.
Guess what? I ate my own cookies.
Yeah.
I had my own lollipop. I drank my own juice.
I went to the bathroom by myself.
Thank you. So that was a wonderful week of having no kids. And that's what it looked like for me. So, and Giselle?
Myself, I have gotten so much sleep this week. And by so much, I mean like 8 hours. Like 8 hours of uninterrupted sleep.
Okay.
And it was like, and I was just like having talked with my sister and how like sleep is always a struggle for her. I mean, she's really good at it. She's very good at sleeping, but like kids don't like allow for that. I'm like, you know what? I'm extra grateful this week for all the amount of sleep I've gotten. Because like previous weeks, I've just been like super busy and just haven't gotten a lot.
Yeah.
Any sleep that I do get is great, but like I've just had a couple of nights where I'm like, oh my gosh, I went to bed early. I slept the whole night. No child was screaming me awake. It was fantastic. I'm very grateful.
So here, what's interesting about sleep, since we bring it up.
Yeah.
Denise, my wife, is always like, oh, you can go to sleep so quickly. Let me explain something to you. This is not advanced. This is not Louis Vance.
This is not Louis Vance.
The game is sleep, and I won. Understand this. I go out to conquer sleep. I'm in REM in seconds. So the fact that she could toss and turn around, she's like, well, you know, I'm up and this and that. That's not my fault. You didn't play the game correctly.
Yeah.
Like I said.
I don't know. Maybe it's something in your genetics. So, like, I also fall asleep really quickly. Ella falls asleep very quickly.
I'm telling you. Yeah, you got to go to sleep. Yeah. So it's funny. So,
yeah, Louis, what's our topic this week?
So the topic this week is family versus career.
Ooh. Good one.
And we wanted to dig into this topic because I know in a lot of cases, since we're talking about, you know, the Tank Podcast not having kids, you know, is there a decision in that? Are we choosing to make sure that we follow our career as opposed to not having a family?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you choose to have a family and that might interrupt what your career path might be. So I think in family versus career, you know, we have a lot of ideas of what we think, and that's what our guest will be talking about as well when we bring her on, because she has a great story, and you'll hear about her family, which I'm part of, so I know a lot of this.
Yeah,
but
great.
yeah,
I'm so excited.
So what are your thoughts on like family versus career?
Yeah, I guess for me, it wasn't actually a decision like I do not want kids because I have this career.
Yes.
My senior year of high school was when I first realized I didn't want kids.
Gotcha.
And so and that was before I ever wanted to be an actor. I thought I was going to be a high school English teacher. I thought I was just going to kind of like go to college, get a master's, go teach.
Gotcha.
the decisions were separate. Like it's like, oh, I can't have kids because I want a career in the arts.
Gotcha.
It was much more, I don't want kids, and then I kind of stumbled into this career as an actor.
Yeah.
And so for me, it wasn't as much of like, oh, I need to sacrifice a family so that I can have this career.
Sure.
It was like, I never wanted this in the first place.
I'm with you. I'm on the same path. Like, I didn't have to choose career over family. But I can say, noticing where my career was heading, noticing where in my career, the time I needed to do what I needed to do, the time I had to do what I had to do, like, it definitely helped in going, I really don't want kids right now, right?
Yeah.
But then later on, that right now turned to, I actually don't want kids at all.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things where, you don't realize that sometimes the decisions that you actually make do kind of curve the pattern and the way your life is going to be led.
Right.
And I think that's what happened for me. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Because, so when I started in entertainment, I was modeling, I acted, like, I did a lot of these things, which, like, would allow me to kind of, like, maneuver and go here and go there and, like, all these things. And having a kid, it makes it hard. I'm not saying you can't do it, because I know people that do it, but it's costly to do it in that form and fashion.
Yeah.
And not only that, but when you started your career, it's not like you're making a lot of money. I mean, majority of actors were waiters and all these other things. You know what I'm saying? So
holding down multiple jobs.
Yeah, and then you realize, like, not only am I holding down multiple jobs, taking care of my family, but I'm also trying to get my career going as well. And that's a lot on your plate.
Yeah. So. And we should also, I think, back up a little bit and say, like, how do we define family? We talked about this a little bit on the last episode about, like, I got a little hot and bothered about when people say, like, oh, I want to start a family. Yeah. And I did a whole rant about how, like, my family started basically when I decided to get engaged. Yes. When I decided to propose to Ella.
For sure.
And, like, Ella is my family. And so, like, it just so happens that my family is also in the arts. Yeah. She's a theater administrator. Yeah. And so, like, our careers and
mine is not.
He says with emphasis.
Mine is definitely not.
And so, like, I don't really have to choose between family and career because my married life is married to that. Like, my family life and career life are married. And there are a lot of sacrifices we have made. In fact, we are living a sacrifice right now for our career. We are, like... we have a guest staying with us who's a designer at the theater, and we've given up our car to that designer. So, like, we're making sacrifices for our careers, and that affects our family, me and her.
Yeah, for sure.
And so and then choices I make if I take an out of town gig, or if I'm really late at an open mic night for stand up comedy, or like, there are sacrifices we make that affect our family. Yeah. But like, when we say, like, family versus career, like, we should also mention, like, children family or just, like, spouse family, so.
Oh, no, you're right, because I feel like even choosing to get married, like, we talk about that with our family, like, how does my career line up with my marriage? And does my wife or husband support this? Or is it something that will, kind of cause a wedge? Now, the reason why it's so important to me is because I remember when we first started, I was in entertainment, my wife was a lawyer. Like, our career paths were definitely on different lanes.
No, she was like an entertainment lawyer. No,
she wanted to be, but I was like,
she's representing you in court. Yeah.
but what's so crazy about it is it's like, you have to make it work. And I think one of the things about making it work is, like, her career is her career, and I uphold that. Like that's what you want to do. However you need me to help you in that, I can help with that. Now, I don't know nothing about law. I know how to not to break it. That's pretty much it. But she understands the ins and outs. When it came into the entertainment and me doing shows and things of that sort, she's always wanted to be there. She's one of my biggest supporters, and she was like, yeah, you're doing a show? Yeah, I'm there. Yeah. Like, it's so funny because we talk about, like, me and Matt met during Art Couple, and Denise went to, I want to say, probably 5 shows. And at one point, I'm like, stop going to shows. Like, we're not buying these tickets anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this needs to stop. But I enjoyed that. Like, I mean, you're on stage, you can't really see in the crowd, but to see the excitement, like, I remember seeing my mom. My mom flew up from Boston, and when my mom came, my mom was so thrilled to see me up on stage. So, there's excitement there with that. And the decision that I made, she supports that decision. Yeah, so my family supports that, and I'm humbled, and
it is funny you say you can't see them in the because of, like, the stage lights and the audience is dark, but I can hear them. Like, when my family comes, when my parents come see a show, they have such distinct laughs. Ella has such a distinct laugh. Yeah. I can hear her, and they're like, yes, she's here watching. It's like, it's so good. It's the most satisfying feeling. I love that.
So before we dive into family versus career with our guest, and we'll introduce her in a moment, Matt would like to go into Matt Jack Loves.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think this would be a good segue to do that.
we need like some sort of like sound bite of like Matt Jack loves da da da, like the more you know sort of thing, like that, you know.
We can do that.
It'll be fun. Let's put that in. I mean, that'd be hilarious. Anyway, my topic for today is Christopher Nolan films.
Okay.
I absolutely love Christopher Nolan films. And I was talking with somebody who likes most of them and like doesn't like two of them. She really didn't like Memento. And I was like, come on, that was like that's what made him famous. I loved it. But like that man hoops gold.
Wow.
Like his worst movie is still so good. It's so much better.
Is he your top 5?
Honestly, probably top 1. Like I think he might be my favorite director of all time.
Wow.
And also Matt Damon is up there with like top 5 actors of all time. Okay. Not because I think Matt Damon is like the best actor ever.
Give Michael Bay any love.
I'll switch over to a Lou Ventz to talk about Michael Bay.
I'll be at any one of your movies. Okay.
Little plug. But like Christopher Nolan movies. Oh, so Matt Damon as well. Like I don't think he's not the best actor ever, but I just love his movies. And the fact they just announced that Christopher Nolan is going to be directing The Odyssey with Matt Damon as Odysseus, and I almost wet myself.
Oh wow!
I almost wet myself. I was so excited.
And it's interesting because they've been doing a lot of these Greek mythology movies, and I just watched the Odyssey, which is Homer's Odyssey.
Yeah,
and they just redid it. I think
with Ray Fiennes. Yes, that was great.
It was really good. So for them to kind of continue with the story, I thought the movie was great. I think, and this is not a plug for the movie. The movie was really good though, but it was more of it lined up with the book so well. Yeah. And there were moments where I'm like, well, I wish they did this a little bit more. I wish they did this a little more. Yeah. Which I thought was great, but I loved it. I thought it was really good.
It was awesome.
And one of my favorite books. I read it in college, I read it in high school, which was a little too early, and I didn't appreciate it. I should go back and read it again. So here's how you cheat in college. I read it in college, and I'm not a big reader. I don't read a lot, but I read what I enjoy reading or whatever, so I've been reading a lot more. When I read Homer's Odyssey, I loved it so much. Anytime it came to another book, I'd be like, well, it wasn't Homer's Odyssey. And I would compare it to it. So then I write a little bit about the other book and then go, but Homer's Odyssey.
Let me just talk about this. Yeah.
The entire time.
That's amazing. But yeah, so basically my Matt Jack Loves of the week is just Christopher Nolan movies. Fantastic. I think his worst movie is still so good. I will watch the Dark Knight trilogy ad infinitum on repeat. For sure. I think best superhero movies ever created. And I think I saw Inception in theaters 7 times.
It confused a lot of people.
It confused a lot of people.
I had to watch it a couple times.
Yes.
And not that I found it confusing. I found it I was so in awe. Yeah. Like, this is amazing and something you've never seen before.
And like for The Prestige with Christian Bale and Hugh Jackman, when I saw that movie, immediately I was like, when is the next showing? I need to watch it right now. Gotcha. And I was like, that Prestige is probably my favorite of his. Gotcha. I think it is like an almost perfect movie. I was just like, I love Christopher Nolan. And that's Matt Jack Loves. And we're going to bring in our guest, Jaimi, and I cannot wait.
We're here with our wonderful guest. She is my sister-in-law. Yes. She is wonderful. She is awesome. She did not pay me to say this. I just want you all to know that. But I love her dearly, and she will definitely be the person to really understand and grasp the idea of what family versus career. And we'd love to hear her story. And so we'd like to introduce Jaimi Jarvis to the show.
Our very first guest.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, this is your guest of honor here. You should feel so honored.
I do. This is history in the making.
We're excited.
Yeah, we can mint this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And you will find out in a moment why, but we basically wanted to get the polar opposite of me and Lewis on here.
Oh, for sure. Yes.
Because Lewis and I don't have kids. Certainly made up for it.
Yes, absolutely.
She has all the kids we would have.
Yes. I have 3 and 3. Yeah, I have 6 kids. All I got one for each of everybody.
The modern day Brady Bunch is what we have.
Yes, absolutely. And for those of you who are like, oh, the football team, no, it's a basketball team with a sub. Get it together.
Okay, so we're gonna dive a little into it. So, what is it like having 6 kids?
6 kids.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot, and I know people hearing it know it's a lot.
Yeah.
And those that have 6 kids are like, "What are you talking about?" But those that don't want to know. They want to know.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. The first one for anybody is a life shift. Okay. Like from 0 to 1 is like, whoa. Yeah. And that's literally everybody's on level playing field.
Yeah, okay, that's fair.
When you have the second one, it's still a little challenge because you have this little, and then you have this sort of like busy running around.
So how old was the first one when you had the second?
2.
2. Okay.
Yeah, when I had the second, my first was 2. So you got a toddler who's walking around doing this, and then you're like, the babies.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey.
Yeah.
So that 1 to 2 is the next one. But then over 3, once you hit 3, it's like, all right, y'all go over there. Okay, y'all come here. Okay, everybody. Okay, can you clean that while you clean that? Okay, you do. It gets easier.
I was going to ask, is that true? Because I've seen it a lot where you're like, the first child, it's delicate.
Yeah.
Oh, make sure, the baby, this stuff.
Yeah.
By the time you get like, just put the baby down. I'm sick of this.
Oh my
like, I don't care.
Yes.
Like, what is the baby going to eat? I don't care.
He'll be all right. Yeah, he'll be all right.
Is he going to die?
Yeah.
No? Okay, he's fine.
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Just too many, they'll be fine.
I only have 2 criteria.
Okay.
It's as long as you're not on fire.
Gotcha.
And you're not bleeding profusely. You can bleed, but it has to be profusely. If those 2 are not happening,
This might be a weird question, but as long as you're not on fire.
no fire, no fire.
No fire whatsoever.
Fire is a no. As soon as we see the fire, there's a problem. Yeah,
Gotcha,
we're not doing that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you. Was when you decided with your husband that we were gonna did you set out to have a large family, or did you like, no, we want 2 kids and then 6 happened, or like, no, we want a large family?
No, we were like, let's have the Brady Bunch. Yeah, let's.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
I love
let's.
that.
But of course, me and Keith. Okay, so we've been married 35 years.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Congrats.
I know,
Well done.
like, whoa. It was like,
Yeah.
and then it was like, oh, and there was like,
Hilarious.
and here we are, right? So definitely, in the beginning, we were like, we want to have kids, and we literally like, let's have a little Brady Bunch, let's do that.
All
And we
right.
were saying that, but of course, everybody talks, but then we didn't know it was really going to be like that. So after we had the first and the second one, then we had twins.
Okay.
Oh my God.
And so they're identical boys. And then after that, it was like, are we done? Because, we have 4. Like, are we done? But the first was a girl, and it was 3 boys.
Oh,
so she really wanted a sister.
Gotcha.
And we were just like, honestly.
And like, well, we're happy to oblige.
I don't-
We'll just pound them out until we got a sister.
That is not how it works, people.
Done yet. I'm just not sure if I'm done yet. And you know what? For those of you who have children, you have this feeling, and put it in the comments or whatever. It's like, I just don't feel done.
Gotcha.
There is this, our family's not quite complete. It doesn't feel
So you had that feeling.
done. Oh, yeah.
So, okay, what I want to know is what happened with the 6th kid, where you're like, oh no, we're done now.
Oh, I was done.
Oh, yeah. So now the feeling of done is done.
Oh, my God. When Ariana came, well, because the 5th came, boy. And then less than, like 9 months later, I was pregnant with the 6th.
Gotcha.
Oh my God.
And so it was just like,
yeah.
This is whatever. And then
back.
when I ever went into labor that last time,
You're like, nope.
it was like, oh my gosh, I'm done with this. I'm
See how
done.
That didn't happen at 4.
I was done.
Like I don't, at 4, I'm like, no, we're good here.
I don't understand how it doesn't happen at 1.
I know. In God's infinite wisdom, you really lose track of the depth of pain. I mean, I'm not going to lie. You forget how
how do you forget
painful, because the joy. This person is such another thing that it's like, and God knew that, because we would wring their plumb necks. They would. No child would ever survive if it's just real.
You say the pain. We both go, 2 men going,
Yeah, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, I mean that's real right there. Like I stubbed my toe and I was out for commission for like 2 days. So just said this. So
perspective.
Another good question we had is the financial implications of having kids.
Yeah, I know.
So because everyone talks about having 1 kid and how much that is, and it's like that goes into the thought process of even having a child. You're like, man, a kid is a lot.
Yeah.
6 is what?
Yeah.
Like, did you feel it?
Were you guys like already millionaires?
Yeah.
Like, what is it?
We were trying to make $1 out of 15 cents.
Yeah,
like, literally,
100%.
maybe 10 cents even sometimes.
Yeah.
But seriously, Keith worked. I stayed home.
Okay.
So I was home for 15 years with raising them. So by the time my last one went to kindergarten, I took a year off.
Okay.
Because let's just be real. If you work a job, if you get 3 weeks a year vacation, right?
That's generous
times
in America.
15 years, that's 45 weeks.
Gotcha.
So I'm going to take my 45 weeks.
Yeah.
And after that, it was like, all right, well, what am I going to do with myself? I'm still going to do PTA, be at school. So I got part-time work. But from there, for the first 15 years, it was all Keith.
Wow.
He worked and he supported us.
I feel like you say vacation, but I go, you're just watching the kids.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, they're in school.
oh, that's true. Okay.
So when the last one went to school, I actually had the day, literally the day off until school let out.
Yeah. Okay.
So that was a vacation.
So you bring up something wonderful, and it's the fact of you stayed home and your husband Keith continued to work, and do things. So in that decision, like, was it, since we're talking about family versus career, was there, like, what was your career before that? Like, did you have a career before that? Was it something you missed out on? Or were you like, no, I'm having kids, I don't even have to think about a career?
Yeah.
So
we were lucky because, I mean, I've talked to lots of people who that's a real, pain point. Like, who's going to do what? And I don't want to, and I'm sacrificing. There's a lot there. And I strongly advise everybody, before you get married or before you have kids, have those conversations.
Gotcha.
Don't wait for those conversations to show up. You're like, what do you mean? You thought I was going to do what?
Yeah, whoa, don't assume.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I always wanted to stay home with my kids. I feel very strongly that if I'm going to have the child, the brunt of the responsibility needs to be on the parents, not on a provider or somebody else.
sure.
Like a child care.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I should be spending the most time raising my children, not somebody else. They're my children, right? So I agreed to stay home. He agreed to work.
Okay.
And we knew that was what it was going to be. Now, how easy that was going to be.
Right.
Up north in Massachusetts, things were expensive.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
I see you're represented. For those of you who are just listening, Lewis is wearing some...
it's backwards, but he knows.
But Patriot swag. And, Lewis and I both have the
Celtics,
snapbacks.
the Boston Celtics.
I'm telling you. So in that choice, did you have to give up a career in order to stay home? And if so, what was the career then?
I mean, I worked for the president of a computer company.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then from there, I ended up being part of the general counsel of the company. I was the administrator for them.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I definitely could have gone into lots of different directions and probably leaned more in the whole project management stuff because that's kind of where I come from. But yeah, I definitely knew I was going to give that up. And it's okay because I feel like I can get it later. Like, do it later. When they're finished, go do it later.
Gotcha. Okay. So there was so you didn't have any animosity as far as going, like, man, like, I have to stop what I'm doing. I mean, not to say that you didn't have a little bit, Did
you feel like you were losing momentum? Or, like, was it just a completely peaceful... decision?
Well, I'm probably a little bit of the exception to the rule. That's what I was going to do. Okay. Like, I decided that's what I was going to do. My kids were more important than any of those things.
Gotcha.
But also, too, I figured it would work out. Like, it's going to come back. We don't die at 50 anymore.
Gotcha.
I mean, as a society, right? Yeah. We live to 80, 90, People are going to college. People are going to college at 50.
That is true.
Like, let me get my second degree. Let me get my second degree. I mean, how many people, trend-wise, are getting a whole second career?
Yeah.
Doing college online or whatever at 50, 45,
for
50,
sure.
So
absolutely.
There's time for that. And I felt like the kids, I only got them for so long. Like, let's just get real. Like, think about yourselves when you were kids.
Yeah.
You had that, and now it's like you can't get any of that back. You can act a fool, but you never get to get that back.
Absolutely.
And I can't miss that. Like, I had to be part of that. And Keith, too,
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
So to play a counterfactual here, and it might be just a fool's errand to even speculate on it, but if there was this feeling that you had where, like, no, I don't want kids, what do you envision your life would be like, or what do you think your career would have been?
Without kids?
Yeah. If you're just like, no, I don't want to be a mom. I want to put everything into my career.
You'd own like 3 McDonald's.
I probably would have done something with kids in it.
Oh,
like,
really?
at some level. Yeah.
Okay.
To kind of fill that gap.
Different people.
I
should know that.
I probably would have went to either, child psychology or some kind of educational something with kids.
Kids that much?
Yes, I probably would have been influencing. That's people who, if you influence and touch them, they can hold that for a long time, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of worse.
I totally hear that because, like, part of the reason I don't want kids is because I do love kids so much, and I love working with them, and I love being available to other children. Like, I'm a firm believer that it takes a village.
Yeah.
And in fact, before coming here tonight, I was dropping off a friend's kid at an event, and she's like, I have this thing in Raleigh, can you help me out? I was like, of course, I'm here for you because I have my own to take care of. I am available to you. And, like, I do best Christmas pageant ever.
Like, I did that.
Yes, it's a great show. There's
none of this.
And it's like 160 children every Christmas doing this show, and it's like, they started calling me Matt Dad, which I found which I started. I find that totally endearing, and I love that. But I'm available to be like
filling in those spots.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Because I do not have kids of my own, and I'm very drawn to children. I love them so much, but I don't want any of my own.
Right.
And so that's really interesting that you wanted to go, like, if you had never had kids, like, I still want to work with them in some way. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with
So
that.
here's what's interesting about that.
And here comes this. All right, here we go.
Because, like, so me and Matt, we do comedy, and comedy's always in my mind. So the one thing I hear from you is, like, especially when Matt's talking, like, we don't have kids, yet for some reason we do things for other people's kids, right?
Yeah.
It makes me think. So my wife wants a 4x4, and I told her no. Here's the reason why. And people, trust me, you'll get the scenario.
Like a vroom vroom 4x4?
Yes, she wants a 4x4. A 4x4 to drive a truck, a big truck. And I said, the reason why I don't want a 4x4 truck is because then people are going to ask us to do things.
That is true.
And here's the reason I know. Because our friends with 4x4 trucks, I always ask them to do stuff. So I tell her, we're not getting a 4x4.
Because everybody's going to help us move.
Because then we become those people. Yes, we have to help people move.
You
this and
only
that.
want to be the one to ask. You don't want to be the one
So
to...
I realized in not having kids, we are the yes, we're the 4x4. I know people are like, what is he talking about? I'm telling you, it's all making sense now.
Become the very thing. Yes.
And the funny thing is, I enjoy doing stuff with kids. Like I would tell Denise all the time, and I think we talked about this a little bit, where like Denise and I used to live in LA. We lived in LA for 17 years, and we went to every kids thing.
Yeah.
Like because the kids were like, oh, Louis and Denise, this and that, because we played games and we enjoyed. And the greatest part of it is like, I get to look at this kid and go, go to your family.
Yes. Yeah.
I am not. Stop calling me uncle. I'm not your uncle. I am Louis. I need you to, like, we've had enough time. Yeah. You need to go. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, it's so funny. Yeah. But I get what you mean because you are now a teacher.
Yes.
You're a teacher, and you still can celebrate. Yeah, you're still a kid. You're like, you can celebrate that. So I see it and I enjoy that. But I also see the path that it's taking you to go, even if I wanted to get away from kids, like it's not about having kids, it's about what kids do to you for your soul and what you get out of teaching kids. And that's wonderful. It's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
That's
it
awesome.
Is. And everybody, honestly, everybody's not cut out for it. As
I know.
Sort of professional career.
Oh, yeah.
But I believe, as a Christian, I strongly believe that, if you are married and kids come about, it'll work itself out.
Oh, yeah.
Gotcha.
Like whatever you need, because God has promised, whatever you need, you will get. It will be provided. Yeah, it might be some character growth going on, and of course, right? Gotcha. But kids bring stuff out of you that nobody else can.
Yeah.
And you know that by spending time with they bring stuff out like, okay, I didn't know that was in there.
Gotcha.
And so that's a growth. You'll get what you need for it.
For sure.
But without kids, there's no world. Like, who's going to grow up and do anything?
Yeah.
There's nothing left.
Yeah. There's nothing left.
So I have, I know we're running short on time, but I do have a good question, which we've both been kind of pondering. And it's just like, so what's the best part of being a mom?
Giving and receiving a special kind of love.
Okay.
That it doesn't come from anywhere else. Wow. And that can be a surrogate mom. It doesn't, when I say mom, it could be, if you're a mom to someone, even if it's not your biological, but that kind of, man.
That connection.
Because it's like, I will lay you out, all that stuff. But it's like, come here, baby. It's like, it would never be the end. Mm-hmm. Like, and I would tell my kids all the time, there's nothing you could ever do in this world, ever. Yeah. That would make me not love you. Mm. And we would do these crazy scenarios. What if I did? What if I... Yeah. I mean, you could be the worst epitome of a person and do really awful things. But as a mother, I'm still going to love you because that's what God does.
Yeah, exactly. There's nothing I can do.
It's just nothing.
To separate that.
That's right.
I agree with the God statement.
Even after I lay you out.
I would like to rebuttal.
Come on.
There's a couple of things that's going to make me dislike you. Right. But no, I have nieces and nephews. Between me and Denise, we have 20.
Oh my gosh.
And
I thought 2 was a lot.
Yeah, no, we have a lot. And I remember,
all age ranges.
Yeah, and I remember always kind of being hard on one of my nephews because the funny thing is he reminded me of me. Mm-hmm. Like, he would always act up a lot and stuff, and I'm like, oh, I see myself. Sit down, like relax. Yeah. This and that, whatever. So he always thought I was hard on him, and I didn't realize that until one day. I think we were at my brother's house. He actually lives in Raleigh. With my brother's house, and he told my sister, "Uncle doesn't like me." Oh. And I said, Uncle, like, what are you talking about? What? So I went and had a conversation with him. And now, he's older. He plays football now, whatever. He's in college. And I remember having a conversation with him like, no, it was like, it wasn't that I dislike you. It was more about discipline. Like, like for me, there was a lot of mistakes that I made, you know, as a kid or whatever. And I'm not saying you're making no mistakes, but there's times where it's just like, maybe you need to slow down. Maybe you need to relax a little. And I might have been not harsh in the way I was saying it. You might have saw it as harsh, so I don't want to take your feelings away from you. But I was just like, relax, like calm down. You don't need to be can't-antsy because I saw it in myself.
Yeah.
Like I was, we can talk about my stories later. Like I was all over the place. Like,
sure.
I was so all over my place. You'd have to take me to the hospital. Like he had something. Like I probably had something that I didn't know. Like you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like I learned.
You're just one walking undiagnosed person.
I'm telling you,
one of many.
No one, because we didn't do that. You're like, man, it's fine. He might have had too much Kool-Aid.
He's not on fire. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
He's not bleeding profusely.
Exactly.
But yeah, I find it so cool because you get to have those interactions. You get to have wow, he now sees me in a different light.
Yeah, for sure.
I get to talk to him, and I get to talk to him as a man now.
Yeah,
it's so cool. So I thoroughly understand.
It is amazing as they get older. Like you're a person with your own thoughts. You're not just some reflection of me. Like you have your own stuff going on, you know?
If you were to give advice to a couple or even just maybe a single woman or whatever who's still questioning whether they want kids or not, what would you say to them about their thought process and their decision making? Like, what should they consider before? Like, if they don't know, I think society's just pressuring me to have kids, or no, I don't even know if I really want kids. What would you say to them about having had 6 of your own? Yeah. What would you tell them?
2 things. From a Christian perspective, it's you don't get to choose. Try not to choose.
Gotcha.
Just try not to. Just try to roll, and what happens, God will open up for you. Yep. And if he gives you children, love and deal with them. If he doesn't, amen.
Gotcha.
But from a not, just a regular perspective, I would say don't let money be the reason. Don't let money be the reason.
Okay.
Because there's too many things. Yeah, there's never a time, and my husband will vouch for this. It's like, oh, you're having kids. He's like, I don't think I'm ready. I'm not ready to have kids. Like, dude, what are we going to be, 50? Like, when are you ever going to be ready? Right. You're never, I promise you, you're never ready. And even when you think you are. Well, we have a house now, and we have our car, and our careers are good. But, maybe we shouldn't because our careers are good. Maybe we should wait a while. It's never going to be the right time, and it's never going to have enough money. Gotcha. So just don't let those be the reasons.
That's great advice. All right.
Well, thank you for joining us.
Yes,
this is our first guest.
Our inaugural guest.
You definitely will be back. We also heard that you might have a podcast as well. Do you want to plug that at all?
Yes.
Or you can please.
So my mother and I have a podcast. It's called The Real Healthy You, a mother and daughter duo. The Real Healthy You. It's on all the podcast platforms as well as YouTube. And if you go to therealhealthyyou.com, we've got some online courses, some books, and some different coaching and things that go on. I'm a certified nutrition coach, so I work from that angle as well. So I just love to combine spirituality and health because our bodies are our temples. Yes. And we need to revere God with our bodies.
There we go.
You better say it.
All right.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Preach it.
We will. Exactly. So just my agents here, let them know if you need me to speak in any engagements. I'm happy to spill my heart. Right? Amen.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, giving us some perspectives we can never have,
for sure.
and broadening our worldview. This has been fantastic.
Thanks for having me.
So we're actually gonna sign out as we usually do. My name is Louis Jacques.
My name is Matthew Stewart Jackson.
And this is the Tank Podcast.